Hola, môre kinders. Hi guys. So this is lesson 4 in our taal series, les 4. En hierdie les is oor voegwoorde. Kom ons kyk wat ons bedoel as ons praat van voegwoorde. Let's see what we mean when we're talking about conjunctions, voegwoorde. Reg, die eerste ding om te onthou is dat voegwoorde in Afrikaans in 3 verskillende groepe verdeel is. The most important thing to remember about conjunctions in Afrikaans is that they are divided into 3 separate groups. Unlike in English, where you've just got a whole bunch of conjunctions and you just join 2 sentences with whichever conjunction you decide. So if I had the sentence, the dog ran outside, it was hungry, you just put the conjunction in the middle, the dog ran outside because it was hungry. Now Afrikaans is not quite that simple, so it's very important to study the groups. The groups are divided into groups, as I said, 1, 2, and 3. In group 1, you will find the following words: maar, en, of, want, toch, of and of, nog en nog, and sowel en as. Those last 3 are for your either or, neither nor, and as well as. Now the important thing to remember about these conjunctions in this group is that you don't have to change anything when you put the 2 sentences together. Much like English, you just put the conjunction in the middle and start the second sentence obviously with a small letter and remove the full stop of the first sentence. But that's all there is to group 1. Remember, you just got to know the words in the group. Some people have come up with little acronyms, so if you want to remember that meow, which is the sound a cat makes, is MEOW, and that is for maar, en, of, and want. You can make up your own thing. I mean, you could say that M equals EOWD plus O squared, N squared, SA. However you want to try and remember it, you just need to remember the words, the conjunctions in group 1. Right, moving on to group 2 conjunctions. Here you've got a lot of words that start with D, so if you're not sure and you think of a word that starts with D that's a conjunction, more often than not all the D words except for dat are in group 2. You won't find any D words in group 1. So we'll go through them quickly. You've got dan, daarna, dus, daarom, derhalve, nogtans, nietemin, anders, gevolglik, al, toe, toch, buitendien. As you can see on the slide, the English translations are there. The one key one that you need to remember is daarom. Daarom always has a semicolon in front of it. Daarom het altyd 'n komma punt voor die voegwoord. It's maklik om te onthou. By the way, I didn't mention it at the beginning of the video, so you might have to just scroll back a bit or rewind. There are 50 dojo points available if you can tell me exactly how many colorful sombreros there are in this video. Group 3 conjunctions, there is a long list. If you just remember some key things, all the words that are conjunctions that end in dat, like omdat, totdat, voordat, nadat, sodat, all the dat words are in group 3. Starting off with dat. Then you come to all your question words are also in group 3. That's your wie, wat, wanneer, hoeveel, hoe, waar, waarom. Any question word that can be used as a conjunction is in group 3. And then there's a couple of others, I'll read them out. Alhoewel, terwyl, sodra, sedert, aangesien, as, indien, of, tensy, mits, and to. The to in this case means when, and the of in this case means if. So does us. Right, so that's all the conjunctions in group 3. Dis die voegwoorde van groep 3. Easy marks here, all the way through the matric. If you can remember to study your conjunctions and know which conjunction is in which group, then it's really simple. Now is where the fun comes. So, in this next slide, we've got 3 sentences. And I'm going to go through it step by step and show you how to join the sentences with the conjunctions. As I said, this is group 1, so it's very simple. We've got the 2 sentences. Die Mexikaan sing mooi, hy speel ook gitaar. Now to join them together, always write the first sentence the same as it was, Die Mexicaan sing mooi. Now you put in whichever conjunction. In this case we'll use en. En goes in the middle. Hy speel ook gitaar. The rest of the sentence. So all we're doing, put the conjunction in the middle. Die Mexicaan se snor is groot. Sy sombrero is groter. Die Mexicaan se snor is groot, maar, remember the comma before maar, sy sombrero is groter. So there you're going to put a maar in, and remember your comma before the maar. Die Mexicaan se oë is toe, hy sing met emosie. Okay. Die Mexicaan se oë is toe, hy sing met emosie. Remember now we're going to join with want, so once again a comma after to. Die Mexicaan se oë is toe, comma, want hy sing met emosie. That's group 1, very simple. Just putting in the commas before maar and want, putting the conjunction in its place, nothing else changes. Kom ons kyk na groep 2 voegwoorde. Voegwoorde in groep 2 is anders as in groep 1, want hulle veroorsaak dat iets gebeur met die werkwoord 1 van sin 2. Slight difference with conjunctions from group 2. You need to move the first verb in the second sentence. So you start off the same. You start with the first sentence, don't change anything. Then you are going to move the verb, first verb in the next sentence to the front, and then carry on writing after you've written down the first verb. The rest of the sentence stays in the same order, but you move the verb to the front. Let's have a look at some examples. Okay, die Mexicaan se sombrero is te groot, hy kan niks sien nie. So the verb I've highlighted, the verb is kan. Die Mexicaan se sombrero is groot, daarom is going to be our conjunction. So we'll put a semicolon because it's altyd a comma punt before daarom. Daarom, now we move kan to the front. Daarom kan hy niks sien nie. So all you're doing in group 2, put the conjunction after the first sentence and move the verb from the next sentence to the front, followed by the rest of the sentence. Die Mexicaan se sombrero is te groot. Hy hou daarvan om dit te dra. In this sentence, I've included om dit te dra, which is the infinitive. And nothing can be written after the infinitive unless it's a nie, and we're not doing ontkenning in this lesson. So how are we going to do this one? Die Mexicaan se sombrero is te groot, nogtans hou hy daarvan om dit te dra. See again, we moved hou to the front, and the rest of the sentence stayed in the same order. Kom ons kyk na die derde voorbeeld. Let's look at the third example. Die Mexicaan is moeg, hy is vas aan die slaap. Die Mexicaan is moeg, gevolglik is hy vas aan die slaap. Once again, we've just moved the is to the front, and the rest of the sentence stays in the order that it was without the first verb because we've moved it to the front. This group 2, that's group 2 in a nutshell. So, what happens in group 3? In groep 3 skuif die werkwoord na die einde. Dit is nou werkwoord 1 van die tweede sin. Once again, group 3, unlike group 2 and unlike group 1, now the verb moves to the end, the first verb of the second sentence. So let's take an example. On the next slide, I'll read through the pictures and the sentences. Kom ons kyk, die twee brandrussies dra sonbrille. Hulle is so cool soos komkommers. I'll translate that for you in case you're not understanding. The two chilies are wearing sunglasses. They are as cool as cucumbers. Now we're going to join these two sentences with omdat, and we'll put omdat obviously after the first sentence. Die twee brandrussies dra sonbrille omdat hulle so cool soos komkommers is. Notice how the is has moved to the end of the sentence because omdat and all the conjunctions in group 3 don't like the first verb, so it needs to move as far away from the conjunction as possible, which you can't go further than the end of the sentence. Let's look at the second example. Die geraamte lyk baie gelukkig. Hy gaan tortilla skyfies eet. Once again, write out the first sentence as normal. Die geraamte lyk baie gelukkig. Aangesien, we'll use aangesien for this one. Hy tortilla skyfies gaan eet. You see what happened there? The gaan didn't go right to the end because it's one of those auxiliary verbs that never goes right to the end. It always moves but stops in front of the main verb. Right, one last thing. Wat gebeur as 'n sin met 'n voegwoord begin? What happens if they ask you to join two sentences but start with the conjunction? Yes, this can and does happen, but it's not as complicated as you might think. So, we'll have a look at the following two sentences. Sy kliënte hou baie van tacos. His clients, restaurant clients, people that want to go to his restaurant, they really like tacos. Die Meksikaanse chef gaan 'n bord vol tacos bedien. And the Mexican chef is going to serve a plate full of tacos. How are we going to take these two sentences? Ons gaan hier twee sinne neem en ons gaan hulle verbind met omdat. We're going to join the sentences with omdat. Maar, nou gaan ons met omdat begin. Remember, this can only really happen with certain conjunctions in group 2 and group 3. Actually, I think there's only maybe one or two conjunctions from group 2 where it can happen. Normally it's a group 3 conjunction where this happens, and more often than not you could probably do it with omdat. So we'll start with omdat, and then we'll move into the first sentence. So the key here is to find the verb in the first sentence, which we've located as ho, because it's been all highlighted in bold. Right, we know the first verb in that sentence is ho, and that verb we're going to move to the end. Remember, because we're starting with a conjunction from group 3. Omdat sy kliënte baie van tacos hou. Notice the ho has moved to the end because it's the first verb in the first sentence. This is the only time we move things around in the first sentence, is if we're starting with a conjunction. Now what happens? After that verb ho, we put a comma. Why do we put a comma? Because what we're going to do now is we're going to find the verb in the second sentence and move that to the front. And the first verb in the second sentence is gaan. So we're going to write gaan die Meksikaanse chef 'n bord vol tacos bedien. So what happens when we join two sentences and start with a conjunction? Easy as anything. Just start with a conjunction, write your first sentence, end with a verb from that sentence, start with a verb from the next sentence, put a comma between them, and away you go. This can only happen when you start with a conjunction. Otherwise, follow the rules for group 1, 2 and 3 as per normal. Right, en dit is basis voegwoorde. That basically is conjunctions in a nutshell. Ek hoop jy het mooi getel aan die sombreros. I hope you counted the sombreros carefully throughout the video. Send me a message, tell me how many sombreros you saw, and you will be rewarded. Geniet die dag. Adios.